What do you do when the next generation stops listening? When young people walk away, not in anger, but in silence? The Watchtower thrives on momentum, loyalty, and insulation. But 3 hidden fears are now threatening this cycle. These aren't fears of outsiders. They are fears of their own children, their friends, and their own minds. And they are the forbidden knowledge that could destroy the Watchtower society. Welcome to Tell Me Dr. K, a channel on which we discuss matters of theological nature, no matter how difficult, complex, or uncomfortable they might be. Because on Tell Me Dr. K, no question, no topic is off limit. We challenge and discuss any topic, teaching, or discussion that we believe contradicts the Bible. And if you are new to this channel, you are most welcome. You can check many other videos covering different religious topics. In episode 1, we covered the first 3 fears of the 12 greatest fears of the governing body, the fears that keep the governing body awake at night. We discussed the following. Fear number 12, fear of worldly temptations and moral freedom. Jehovah's Witnesses leaders fear that their members will begin to enjoy the outside world, and if they do, they lose control. Fear number 11, fear of other Christian denominations, which they call Babylon the Great. And what is the fear? Fear that the members will be exposed to alternative interpretation of Scripture, grace, and Christian love, and having a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. Then we looked at fear number 10, media exposure and investigations. They fear this because it exposes what goes on inside the Jehovah's Witnesses. And they fear this because they've branded themselves as being better than any other Christian organization. They've taken a moral high ground, and therefore exposing the dirty laundry in public puts a crack in their armor. Welcome to episode 2, entitled Forbidden Knowledge, the 3 fears that could destroy the Watchtower. So we are counting down from 9 to 7. What do you do when the next generation stops listening? When young people walk away, not in anger, but in silence? The Watchtower thrives on momentum, loyalty, and insulation. But 3 hidden fears are now threatening this cycle. These aren't fears of outsiders. They are fears of their own children, their friends, and their own minds. And they are the forbidden knowledge that could destroy the Watchtower society. Let's begin with fear number 9, stagnation and loss of youth. What is the fear here? That religion will age out, that Jehovah's Witnesses will stop growing, especially among young people. One wise man said, "He who has the children has the future." And it doesn't look that the Jehovah's Witnesses have the future, because the Pew Research shows that the Jehovah's Witnesses has the highest turnover of those born in the religion than any other religion in the United States, because 2/3 of them leave the religion. What if the truth only lives in the generation that still fears it? So why do they fear it? Because youth equals future. Because without energetic pioneers, Bethelites, and elders in training, the organization has no engine. Is this video making sense? Am I driving a point home? Now do me a favor. If you have so far enjoyed the video, kindly do me a favor. Like, subscribe, and smash the notice bell so that when I upload the next episode, you'll be notified. Now, why do we emphasize and keep on asking you to subscribe? It is only when the people watch the video, subscribe, like, or comment that YouTube makes this video to be seen by more people, therefore making the message to be broadly shared. In the recent past, the Jehovah's Witnesses have been pleading and trying to hold on to young people. They are doing everything possible to hold on to young people. They are even changing long-held practices, like keeping a beard, like women wearing pants, men going to kingdom halls without jackets. All these are desperate means by the governing body to not only hold on to the young people in their fold, but to try to attract young people outside the religion. Here are some clips.
The governing body has asked me to read the following announcement. The governing body has decided that sisters may choose to wear slacks when participating in the ministry and when attending Christian meetings, assemblies, and conventions. When a sister has a part on the program, she should wear a skirt or a dress, if that is the standard of dress in that land. In addition, brothers may choose not to wear a tie or a jacket when participating in the ministry and when attending Christian meetings, assemblies, and conventions. When a brother has a part on the program, he should wear a tie and a jacket, if that is the standard of dress in that land.
After prayerful consideration, the governing body has concluded that there is a need to clarify this matter. The governing body does not have an issue with brothers wearing beards. Why not? Because the scriptures do not condemn the wearing of beards.
Recently, we've had updates about dress and grooming. We've talked about beards for brothers, slacks for sisters, and the use of jackets and ties for brothers. We're thankful that Jehovah trusts us in these matters. But some questions come up. First of all, do these adjustments about dress and grooming mean that we are lowering our standards? Not at all. Our worship of Jehovah deserves our deep respect and honor. These adjustments should not dilute the depth of our appreciation for serving Jehovah. More so, it's a recognition that styles change over time, and that what's considered acceptable, dignified dress for certain occasions also changes over time.
Recent data has shown that the Jehovah's Witnesses' growth is stalling. In some region, it is actually declining. And more concerning, the teen retention rate. Many young Jehovah's Witnesses fade in their late teens. Others get baptized under pressure only to abandon the rules later. Some stay for their families, but believe nothing inside. These are called PIMOS, physically in, mentally out. And I've read so many stories from ExJW Reddit of young people desperately crying for help of how to get out. And one thing I like about ExJW Reddit is the kind of advice that such young people are given. Some are told, don't rush, stay in, focus on preparing yourself until you are independent, then you can leave. They have even reduced the age limit for volunteering to go in full-time service from 19 to 18 years. Surprisingly, when Jeffrey was announcing this, the other members were applauding as if it was a good thing. Here is a clip.
Young brothers and sisters, we want you to be able to get involved in this exciting work as early as possible. And so, I have an exciting announcement to read. It reads this way. We are pleased to inform you that the governing body has decided to reduce the minimum age requirement to enter Bethel service or to assist with theocratic construction projects from 19 to 18 years of age.
The governing body fears a future where kingdom halls will be full of gray heads, empty seats, and echoes. Here's the clip.
And what were we thinking? Well, probably, maybe we didn't say it, but we were thinking, the number will go down, 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 and there'll be just a couple of old guys in a wheelchair.
So how do they prevent this fear from being realized? They do the following. By encouraging baptism as early as 10 or 11, by producing cartoons, youth magazines, animated loyalty lessons like Become Jehovah's Friend. They are also doing this by holding up teen pioneers as heroes and indirectly shaming others by comparison. They are also doing this by emphasizing that the end is as close as ever, making long-term goals seem foolish. Now, one of the things that you have to know is that subconsciously, if somebody threatens you once, twice, 3 times, subconsciously you start realizing, they are not serious. I recall many years when I just started working formally, I worked with a workmate who overheard his children saying, Daddy doesn't beat. He just threatens. And he was surprised. That's exactly what has been happening to the Jehovah's Witnesses. They've been threatened so many years that now those threats are actually empty. I mean, they've been threatening for close to 140 years that the end is near. Now the end is it's even very, very close, just nearby now. Here's a clip by Stephen Lett.
So the events unfolding around us are making clearer than ever that we're living in the final part of the last days, undoubtedly the final part of the final part of the last days, shortly before the last day of the last days.
Let's listen to the quote from the Watchtower. Such education wastes valuable youth years that could be used in Jehovah's service.
Please observe carefully this variety of young ones who are busy storing up treasures in heaven with Jehovah.
And a lot of videos have been made to highlight how that young people should avoid going for higher education and straight away go into full-time service. Mark Sanderson has talked about how he declined a scholarship to go straight into full-time service. Stephen Lett has talked about joining Bethel at an early age, just from finishing high school, and he was able to overcome peer pressure to go to the university. To prove what I'm saying, here are the clips.
Brothers and sisters, why are we so convinced that full-time service will lead you young ones to a wonderful life? Well, it's because that's the decision that so many of us made when we were young. Do you remember that 18-year-old young brother who was trying to decide which path to take? Well, that was me some years ago. I'm so glad that with the help of Jehovah and my parents and other mature friends in the congregation, I made the decision, just like so many other brothers and sisters around the world, to turn down that scholarship, to give up university, and go directly into the full-time service.
I am so thankful to Jehovah. Enter the pioneer ministry right out of high school. What a blessing and a protection it was to enter the regular pioneer work at age 17 and to be able to go to Bethel at 18. Even though there was considerable worldly pressure put on me to pursue university education, I am so happy that with Jehovah's help, I decided to build my future with Jehovah.
In the world that rewards exploration and learning, the Watchtower solution is repetition and restriction. But the youth are watching and walking away. Let's go to the governing body's fear number 8, outside friendships or bad association. What is the fear here? The Jehovah's Witnesses who form deep and meaningful relationships with non-JWs. That members who find loyalty and love outside the congregation. Why do they fear it? They fear this because the shunning policy only works if your friends are inside. If you have a support system in the outside world, the threat of disfellowshipping loses its sting. The leadership of the Jehovah's Witnesses ensure that they bring you in They give you an identity that you are different, that you are unique. They threaten you of the outside world. And then they make sure that only members of the Watchtower Society are your friends. And especially for those who come from Jehovah's Witnesses families. And because of this, shunning is a powerful weapon. Many people are inside there only because they are afraid of losing family. Here are some clips from Navi Sangha of the people that were interviewed who explained just how painful it is to lose family members.
Do the tattoos on your body, do they represent like what you went through?
Sure, everything does. I was lost without a sense of direction for a long time, and I self-abused for a long time. You know, and for me, like my life was complete anarchy. I always felt that for the longest time that I was all by myself, which I wasn't. You know, that's just something that I thought. You know, it was something that was beat into me. And if you leave Jehovah's organization, you're going to be on your own. And I always thought that I was. You know, and I was lost without a sense of direction for a long time until I was lucky enough to meet my wife, and you know, she put me on the straight and narrow. And I mean, I'll give her 100% credit as to why I'm sitting here right now. I mean, I'm not sure where I would be. My life was still in a fog when I first met her, and
when you're raised as Jehovah's Witness your whole life, when all of your family around you, all your friends are in that environment, when they cut you off and disfellowship you, you are put into solitary confinement.
A couple of months. Would you say you felt alone, like very lonely?
Yeah, I felt like completely alone. I had this experience which made it very surreal for me. So I joined a jiu-jitsu club, and I've been doing that now for a couple of years. And, you know, you get in and you need to sign like a form, right? And you need to put an emergency contact, right? And it was at that point, I have nobody, right? There's nobody that I could put on that column to call, right? And so I think it's still the case. I should update it. My emergency contact was 911, right?
They also fear that a JW who feels safe with schoolmates, co-workers, or neighbors can survive being shunned. But for someone whose entire life is in a hole, that is the kingdom hole, they lose everything when they are shunned. Some attempt suicide.
I can remember my stuff being outside, and my mom, I still can see her standing in the front window and just pointing at the road. You know, a couple bags sitting outside, and that was it. I had no money. I had nothing, you know, nothing. I had my my little Honda Civic car. I had maybe a quarter tank of gas in it, and that was it. You know, I got into my car, and when we were kids, we used to hang out under a bridge, and I went there. And under the bridge, we had like not a cabin, but a little setup there, right? So I spent the night there, actually. I had slept there for a couple days, and those couple days I was very close to ending it. You know, it definitely crossed my mind on several occasions, and rather quickly. I didn't know what to do. I mean, you're just a young kid. You no longer have a support network of any kind. I didn't really know. I knew some kids from school. I was friends with some kids, but not very many. Because nobody really wanted to associate with you. You were a Jehovah's Witness. You were not like the other kids, right? So yeah, it was I wouldn't say the lowest point of my life. That came later on, but I'd say it's pretty close, man. It's pretty close. It still burns me.
The others actually succeed. They kill themselves when they are shunned. And the governing body through the JW broadcastings and the Watchtower call this as a loving arrangement. That's why bad association is one of the most repeated warnings in JW literature and broadcastings. Watchtower teaching. Do not be misled. Bad association spoils useful habits. Here is a clip.
We must know Jehovah well. That means knowing his thinking on matters. We should welcome such an examination and make any necessary changes. For example, let's read 1 Corinthians chapter 15 and verse 33 together. Here we read, "Do not be misled. Bad associations spoil useful habits." As familiar as that principle is, can you think of an area in your life where it's difficult to apply?
Hey, John. I know it's not your usual, but there's no one to entertain those clients tonight, so can you do it? Thanks.
Great.
Till then, it wasn't my usual thing. But I need to support my family. I think.
We're faced with bad associations in subtle ways. This may require us to ask additional questions of ourselves. Are we letting in bad association through social media? Perhaps we can think of another way bad association.
I don't think so. Except for some friends from my old congregation. Wow, they're not doing so well spiritually. But if I stay connected and see what they're doing, maybe I can help them.
Associations can affect us. Maybe it's something very specific. Or maybe bad association is coming from a place we never expected.
I only join games with witness friends I know. But sometimes, they connect with people I don't know. Who pick games I'm not sure we should play. But maybe my friends know them.
What do they do to prevent this fear from happening? By isolating members socially from participating in holidays, clubs, and after-school activities. By warning that worldly people are spiritually dangerous. By shunning anyone who leaves the faith, even family. Here's a real story. Somebody said, my best friend wasn't a JW. When I got disfellowshipped, she stayed by my side. That friendship saved my life. The governing body fears friendships outside the hall because love that doesn't come from the organization can free you from it. We go to fear number 7, higher education. What is the fear here? That Jehovah's Witnesses, especially the young ones, will pursue college education, that they will learn to think critically, that they will gain access to ideas, evidence, and skills the organization cannot control. Why do they fear college education? Because college education can, number 1, undermine literalist Bible interpretation, promote independence and financial success, open doors to science, philosophy, and ethics, and questioning of authority. The governing body knows that college education is a threat to their monopoly on the truth. Watchtower Court. We are not encouraging young people to pursue higher education. It is a danger to their faith. Here is a famous broadcasting, 2015 broadcasting by the discredited Anton Morris, warning young people against higher education.
Regarding the pursuit of higher secular education? No. We feel that all of the cautions that we have addressed in the past are still valid, less of an issue. The cost of obtaining university training is not our primary concern. It is the potential for spiritual harm that has moved us to provide the cautions we have shared in the past. All too often, our young people have met with spiritual disaster, especially after leaving home and living on a university campus.
They have seen it happen. Witnesses who attend college drift away or leave entirely. And those who stay often come back totally changed. Here's a clip.
We are to be careful that this system does not mold or shape our thinking. Higher learning can easily influence thinking and attitudes. Elders in congregations that are in close proximity to universities are well aware of the repeated scenario of parents coming to the Kingdom Hall with a child that they're dropping off to attend the nearby university. Sadly, often in a few weeks or months, the child begins missing meetings. And not too long into the school year, he totally disappears. My question is, who dropped them off at the university?
How do they prevent this from happening? By teaching the end of the world is near.
And the Watchtower under consideration today was entitled, Your Deliverance is Getting Near. And that's the theme from which our date text and comments were taken. And I'm sure you, like me, rejoice in the hope. You rejoice to think about the blessings that will come right after the Great Tribulation and Armageddon. How encouraging to know that the world, which to many seems out of control, is soon nearing its end. The grand finale is close. How close? Well, we all recall the stirring concluding talk at this year's regional convention. It summed it up in one word: imminent.
So college is a waste of time. By flooding literature with examples of young Jehovah's Witnesses who gave up scholarships to pioneer, like Mark Sanderson, by publicly discouraging university in talks and personal counsel, by celebrating poverty as a spiritual virtue.
Now, if we think about Jesus' words in today's text, give us today our bread for this day, there's really indirect counsel against materialism. See, Jesus didn't say to pray for our daily meat or some other luxury food item. He didn't even say that we should pray for a month's supply of bread. Pray for and be content with our bread for the day. But as we know, a sizable number of Jehovah's people today are being distracted by materialism. So since this is not an imagined, but it's a real danger to Jehovah's people, let's discuss the theme, beware of the power of materialism.
Knowledge is freedom, and that's why the governing board of the Jehovah's Witnesses has forbidden it. So what do they fear? A generation that won't stay silent, friendships that can't be controlled, and minds that cannot be silenced. But what happens if knowledge isn't just personal? When former members begin to speak out, when critical thinking turns into rebellion, when silence turns into testimony. In the next episode, we deal with just that. 3 triggers that terrify the Jehovah's Witnesses leadership. If you have enjoyed this video, kindly do me a favor. Like, subscribe, and smash the notice bell so that when I upload the next video, you'll receive a notification. If you want to make an addition of anything that I've left out, kindly do that in the comments below. If you don't agree with me, especially if you're Jehovah's Witnesses, also comment below. But please, be more specific. Don't give me general statements that don't mean anything. Like you are telling lies. What lies? Provide evidence. If you believe that other people benefit from the information in this video or in this series, kindly share it with them. You can share with as many people as possible. To continue to episode 3, click on this link. If you have not watched episode 1, click on this link. To watch other videos talking about Jehovah's Witnesses collapsing, click on this link. To watch the video that I referenced about young people vanishing from the Jehovah's Witnesses religion, click on this link.